Marhaba. Right now I want to talk a little bit about sentences in Arabic and the ways in which verbs are used in the past and present tense. By this point, I'm assuming that you are familiar with the verb kana, which is used to kind of situate things and actions in the past tense, and that you know how to conjugate past tense verbs with little difficulty. If you need refreshers on those, you can go watch some videos on those subjects. I want to talk more specifically about the difference in flavor that we get when we use a conjugated past tense verb or a present tense verb preceded by kana, because they do have different meanings. If I use a conjugated past tense verb, it has the implication of doing something once or doing something for a short period of time. If I said qara'tu al-kutub, it would mean I read the books. And as in English, the idea would be I did it once, or I did it quickly, and it's over and done. If I use kana, conjugated, it gives a slightly different flavor of something happening continuously in the past or something that I used to do in the past, habitually. If I said kuntu aqra al-kutub, it would mean something like I used to read books, or I was reading the books, and then potentially we could have a sudden event or action. I was reading the books when my friend walked through the door, or something like that. But either way, it's a continuous action that was happening in the past. Another example, لعبت كرة القدم. I played soccer, or I played football. If I say that, it implies once, or briefly, or just this afternoon, a limited period of time. But if I say كنت ألعب كرة القدم, it would mean either I was playing soccer or I used to play soccer. في طفولتي كنت ألعب كرة القدم. In my childhood, I used to do something. One other little wrinkle that I want to draw your attention to is that sometimes, not just with kana, but with other verbs, especially in narrative texts taking place in the past or biographies in particular, if we begin a statement with a past tense verb, then we can also switch to the present tense while retaining the meaning of the past tense. Here is an example sentence. هاجرت المرأة من بلدها تقيم في الشقق الصغيرة وتعمل في المطاعم. So the woman emigrated from her country. تقيم في الشقق الصغيرة, literally that means she lives in small apartments. وتعمل في المطاعم, and works in restaurants. But since it's connected, immediately preceded by this past tense verb, it all collectively has a meaning of happening in the past. She emigrated from her country, we might render it in English, living in small apartments and working in restaurants, presumably in the new country. This is actually a structure in Arabic called hal. It's one way of phrasing a hal clause. The important thing right now is that you recognize it, and recognize that if we see sort of two clearly connected statements and we start with a verb in the past tense and then the verbs that follow it are in the present tense, the meaning remains sort of cumulatively in the past. There will be a separate video on the hal clause and the different ways that you construct it, because there are a few, but this is one that we're really likely to encounter in past tense narratives, biographies, histories, things like that. So when you are reading texts, make sure that you bear that in mind.